Hey, Anonymous. Hey, Jenna. Hi, Joel. Hey, Color Purple. Are the wings? Last night? The wings were not bad last night. They were okay. They were wings. They were chicken wings. Wait. Today? Fried chicken. I actually ordered KFC. I woke up late, so I wasn't able to get I woke up too late to get anything from the hot food counter at the grocery store. So, ended up ordering KFC. Which means there's a better than even chance I'll have to take a poop break sometime during this stream. You a fan of KFC then, Jenna? Hey, Jordan. Haven't had KFC in ages. Yeah, I mean, it's... Honestly, you're not missing out on much. Like, I'll be honest. You're really not missing out on much. KFC genuinely isn't particularly good. Time this morning to go to bed? It's like 9 a.m. It's a little after 9 a.m., so... Curtsies in Canadian? Hey, Gillface. Hey, Killface. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th? So it is, I didn't even realize. Father says the war is going to end soon. Actually, wouldn't it be, I hope this letter finds you well? Not I hope you find this letter well, but I hope this letter finds you well. Be celebrating with the Friday the 13th marathon. I will be working! Got my powdered wig in sleigh mode. It's a Friday, so obviously I will be working. Don't get all linguistic. You're right. Nobody likes a pedant. Pedant? No one likes a pedant. The letters give me the bombastic side-eye. Fair. This letter is writing passive-aggressive tweets about me. It's fair. Let's go dance to some harpsichord. Yeah, I'm sure we'll have another party at some point this episode. At some point in the next couple hours, I'm sure we'll have another party to go to. And who knows, maybe there will be dancing. There's no dancing at the salon. Ooh, it's not a party, it's a salon. Ripple? Yes, I actually did have KFC for supper. Because I woke up too late to get anything at the hot meal counter. At the Goshi store. So I was like, fuck it, I'll get KFC. Still have fried chicken. Ain't no party like a harpsichord party. Because a harpsichord party is classy AF. I feel like the people who did the music for this game probably had a really fun time with it. Gave a ton of patient stars in the charts today because they simply annoyed me. Fair. It was Sam in the library with a back scratcher. Hey, PK. I don't know, you gotta figure that the musicians for this game just really enjoyed themselves, you know? Also got a bloomin' onion. Cool, cool. Is this sexy clue? It is not. This is Sexy French Revolution. Clue with BDSM. Now that makes me think of like a mashup between because like Tim Curry was in both Clue and Rocky Horror. So now I'm picturing Frankenfurter as Curry's Clue character. Or like Dr. Frankenfurter in Clue. You've explained this game to me 7 times, yet here we are. Like, it's just the movie Clue, but Tim Curry is playing Frankenfurter. Never saw Rocky Horror? You should, Jenna. It is... I've never actually watched Clue. Clue is one of those movies that I should watch, but I never have. Rocky Horror, I definitely recommend. It is just so much fun. Halloween, you should watch it on Halloween. I don't watch movies, I just bang my head against walls. Fair. Yeah, Rocky Horror is one of those things that's just gloriously campy. And, like, everyone in that movie is having the absolute best time of their lives. I want boring, give me a library. But libraries are fun. Libraries are full of books. Libraries are full of books, and books can bring you on adventures, fun adventures. Rocky Horror is such a vibe, I love it. Yep. What happened again? KFC. Can't bring myself to watch the Saws movies. They seem too real for me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not into horror. Especially, like, gory shit. I'm not into gore. And those movies are all about the gore. You know, it's torture horror. And that's just... no. Pre-ordered Mike the Situation's book on his addictions and recovery. I still remember when the Situation just absolutely bombed at one of the Comedy Central roasts. I think it was the roast of Donald Trump. The Situation was on there for some reason. And he just fucking died. Like, no laugh. He got no laughs from anybody. Like, thought you went grocery. I did go grocery shopping, PK. I did do Goshi's, but I did them too late to get anything from the hot food counter. But yeah, like, he was doing so badly that Jeff Ross just went up and tried to rescue him. And even that, it was like, yeah, it's still just end this misery. Make him leave the stage. Make him leave the stage, the building, the state. Just... anyways... we are at 15 minutes, so this is a good time to get started. Hey, taking care. It's 20 to 30 pounds. I mean, since like a year ago. You awaken the next morning in a bed that still feels unfamiliar. In the process of waking up, you start to recall the last night's humiliations and wish that they were merely the product of your fitful dreams. Unable to go back to sleep, you spend some time tossing and turning in bed before finally sitting up. Nothing is going to make last night go away. The only option is deciding what to do next. You feel exhausted. Not physically, but in your very soul. Like your fate in Paris has already been decided, and that to remain here would be pointless. It would just be the humiliations of last night, over and over again. However, stronger than that exhaustion is the simmering rage you feel. At the outrageousness of your circumstances, at the injustice of your treatment, and at the thought of going back to your tiny village after finally making it here to Paris. No, you must not go back. You cannot go back. Not while a single candle of your ambition still burns. Camille pops into your room, already dressed and ready for the day. Bonjour, madame, she beams. It looks like you had quite an active night. Is there anything I can get you? Please find a spare pillow and smother me. I'm not sure. Do you know how to make a murder look like an accident? Unfortunately, madame, the only thing I've killed are rats, fish, chickens, and one porcupine. Those didn't look very accidental either. I don't think I'll be able to help with a murder. Clearly on meth. I mean, 18th century France? It's the only thing to get a maid in 18th century France. It's the only way to get her through the day. Now, if you wanted me to clean up after a murder, that I could do. Still, I can't let you start your morning without something to drink. It wouldn't be healthy. What can I get you, madame? Been on any dates? Nope. Tea, please. I'll need to keep my wits about me if I'm to regain people's trust. Camille returns so quickly with the tea that you're certain she made it ahead of time. It's piping hot, fragrant, and not too bitter. There was meth back then? Right, that's my point. It's the only way to get through a day as a maid in 18th century France. You drink the brew in silence, the gears of your mind slowly getting up to speed. The tiredness fades. Your anger does not. You have gained a little credibility. Yay! You take a few moments to finish your drink in silence and collect your thoughts. Something that keeps coming to mind is all the gossip you've heard during your time at the party. Most of it was idle prattle, but some of it felt scandalous and valuable. Without an inheritance or a job, you'll need a way to make some money. Camille is too friendly, I don't like her. I like her. Maybe someone would be willing to buy this gossip. Is that a thing people do? Camille taps her chin thoughtfully. Well, when I was at Les Halles the other day, someone mentioned something about a newspaper with these amazing society pages. I think it was called La Trompette du Peuple. Meth maids make tea that fast, yep. La Trompette du Peuple. Peuple. La Trompette du Peuple is now available to visit in the Paris map. They'd have to get the stories from somewhere. Why not you? In fact, I bet you'd be great at that, madame. Merci, Camille. I think I'll do just that. With that, your day begins. The peuple. can get 30... I can get 30 francs. Or whatever. I've already forgotten what they... Hey, hamburger eyes. Je t'aime, mes amis. For the record, Scrapegoat, that would be butt friend. Judot butt friend. May, M-A-I-S, May, is butt. The version you want is M-E-S. Which I think might still technically be incorrect, but... Anyway, let's go to La Trompette de Peuple. A popular, if unscrupulous newspaper. Spend the day here to sell gossip, manipulate public opinion, and update your knowledge of the political factions in Paris. Visit location. Let's sell some gossip to the Peuple. You walk through the city, following Camille's directions. Eventually, you find yourself threading through narrower and narrower streets. The alleys, packed with refuse and the occasional vagrant napping in the shade, feel almost oppressive in their closeness. Suddenly, the alleys open up into a wider street near a square. You can hear the splashing of a fountain nearby. You finally find the sign for La Trompette de Peuple. The paint appears to be fresh, but the office seems awfully small. The door is locked, so you give it a knock. Nobody answers. Looking around, you find a hastily written note lodged in the doorframe. It reads, "Office temporarily closed. Engaging in emergency fundraising efforts. We apologize for the inconvenience. Management. P.S. Fear not this setback. The light of journalism shall never fade." It's at that moment you realize the splashing in the fountain is getting louder, accompanied by some of the most inventive profanity you've ever heard. Against your better judgment, you decide to investigate. So the newspaper is funded by coins that people throw into a fountain? Aha! A reedy voice shouts triumphantly. You come upon a man in grubby finery, up to his knees in the fountain. His shoes have carefully been placed at the water's edge. He does a little jig as he drops a wet coin into his snuff box, which is clutched tightly in his other hand. Noticing your presence, the man in the fountain turns to you with a nod and a smile that attempts to be ingratiating. Bonjour, madame! Hey, hamburger eyes. Read books out loud for kids in library or adults. The shady part is I would be genuinely good at that. I just don't want to be around kids. Career reading Audible. Reading for Audible. That I wouldn't be able to do, I don't think. Honestly, that kind of thing, it's not easy. Are you Pierre, the esteemed editor of Le Trompette de Peuple? His smile broadens and the man bows, his manner suddenly as elegant as the finest courtiers of Versailles. Why, in fact, I am, bon dame. My name is Pierre Renaudon. How may I be of service? If I wanted to sell some gossip, how would that work? Let's do the tutorial. A devious smile crosses his face. New to this, are you? Don't worry, it's much easier than you think. This list shows all the pieces of gossip that you have at the moment. Click on one of them. Cheap Revolution Gossip. Gossip's value is determined by its tier and its freshness, but it also has an effect. If you peddle influence, I'll take the gossip for free, but you can see that effect to change the standing of a faction. However, right now you need money, so click on the Sell Gossip button. Are you sure you'd like to sell this cheap Revolution Gossip for 30 francs? If you do this, there should be no chance of the public finding out. Okay. When you're ready, click here to leave. You can always come back at a later time. Hurrah! I have sold gossip! You wake up the next morning to a polite knock on your bedroom's doorframe. Camille enters, carrying a small armload of letters. Madame, Camille starts, both confused and hesitant. There's a lot of letters for you here. Are they for me, or are they for Armand? They're from you, madame! Every single one! What's the gossip about? The gossip was about some dude being, who wrote pamphlets being arrested. Some dude being arrested for writing anti-royal pamphlets or something like that. Are these party invitations? Why would anyone invite me to a party? Well, madame, you're a little famous right now, Camille replies. Everyone's heard about your run-in with that dreadful party host a few days ago. How they preyed upon your honor and spirited away your carriage driver, leaving you trapped and alone. You don't think that's exactly how it happened, but decide against fretting over the details. Camille starts to talk faster and faster. Then, when all was lost, you were saved by a beautiful stranger who escorted you home in the moonlit night. It's so romantic, no? I like how you've made Camille German. That's German. I'm trying for French. I'm trying for a French accent. My French sounds German. Should I try for a German accent and hope that comes out French? Oh, the rumors are already running rampant. Why, just in the markets the other day I heard someone say that you've taken a liking to... Camille stops, stares into space, and blushes. Actually, never mind that. Just stolen a trash bag from my employer. Can't focus on the plot with this on my conscience. Ain't character... Hey, Juicer. Never mind what? It's just rumors from the marketplace, madame. Nothing you should dignify. Okay, yeah, I see the German. I hear the German now. In any case, this is your chance to meet people in the city who don't hate you, or Monsieur Armand. You have received many party invitations. You can now receive party invitations from all over Paris. In fact, I'm sure that anyone who really judges you fairly is going to love you. Alright, that's all well and good, but how does any of this work? Me in character is hilarious. Alright. Don't worry, madame. It's quite simple. Monsieur Marriott requests the attendance of Madame Yvette Decaux to his choir recital. Ooh, choir recital. Intimate party sure to be the very height of cheerful gaiety. You've just been invited to several parties. Camille will show you new invitations as you receive them. Choose accept or decline to decide which parties you'll attend, or choose close to skip and choose later. Parties take up your whole day, but you can find gossip and advance certain stories there. Spotting bullets passing through the trash bag detectors. Church gossip. Alright. Let's see. Do I want to go to this one? Madame Réveillon. Wine tasting. Ooh. This intimate party is sure to be the very height of merry merriment. Bourgeoisie gossip. Ooh, I've got two parties on the same day, it looks like. The fascinating Madame Yvette Decaux to his opera gala. A most spectacular display of generous amusement. Crown gossip. The infamous Madame Yvette to his poetry salon. Oh, her poetry salon. Purest form of effervescent celebration. For revolutionary gossip. And military ball for military gossip. You can select any invitation on the calendar to see more details about it. Deciding to attend a party the same day that you've received an invitation gives you a small bonus to credibility. Not the trash bag stealing trash bags. All right. May as well go to this one, I guess. Hey, J. Monsieur Marriott. Choir recital on March 26th. For some church gossip. Fuck the church. I'm glad to sell gossip on the church. How's everyone doing? Wine tasting. Hell yeah. Bourgeoisie gossip. Yeah, I'll sell out the bourgeoisie. Bourgeoisie are jerks. Yeah, haven't seen you around in a bit, J-Dot. Haven't seen you in a bit. So sure, I'll accept that one. Now. The Duke d'Harcourt or Madame Bailey? Is it uncouth to drink Sprite Zero straight out of the 2-liter bottle? It's fine. What do you think? Crown party or revolution party? Opera or poetry salon? Just got home from church. Cool, cool. So yeah. Should I go to an opera gala by the Crown? Or a poetry salon by the from the Revolution? I'm thinking the Crown. The Revolution were mean to me. It was a dude from the Revolution faction who was mean to me. And military ball. Pizza, salad, and football game. Am I able to see my exhaustion? Doesn't look like I can. Do I care about the military ball? Is that Camille just tweaking in the mirror behind you? Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, I'm tempted to just skip the ball. Because what do I care about a military ball? What do I care about a military ball? Plus, you know, I imagine good chance I'll have built up some exhaustion by then. I suppose I'll accept it. Le Grand Taverne de Lourdes. La Place Royale. Le Grand... I can't even really see what that says. The Maid and the Archer? You'll never get laid if you skip balls. Incident. This one's an incident. Alright, let's Walking near the market, you come across your own maid of all works, who seems to be in a bit of trouble. Hey, Vanna! Alright. Honestly, the rewards are not worth it. I'm likely to lose shit doing this. Like, doing this, I'm likely to lose out on money, credibility, and game peril. So I'm honestly, like, it's probably not actually worth doing it. Le Grand Taverne de Londres. Luxurious restaurant, this rendezvous location caters to some of the wealthiest and most powerful clientele in all of Paris. It also serves some of the finest food in the city. Try the lamb! A great square where the rich and powerful socialize. Here you'll spend the day trawling for gossip. Guinguette Paradis. Paradis? Out in the suburbs of Paris, Guinguette Paradis is a rendezvous location That's a perfect spot for drinking, dancing, and cabaret entertainments. And La Grande Danseuse de Roi. La Grande Danseuse de Roi. The premier theatre in Paris, La Grande Danseuse de Roi, is a rendezvous location known for its comedies, which tend to be coarse and proletarian, but always lively and never boring. Alright. Looks like this has something to do with Camille, so... You spend the day walking through the city, exploring the neighborhood near a marketplace. The air is pungent, a rush of scents from crisp vegetables to fresh fruit to less than fresh fish. Your ears suddenly perk up at the sound of a familiar voice, and you start slipping through the crowd in its direction. You stumble upon Camille, her arms full with a basket full of the day's groceries. However, she's been stopped by a watchman of the Gay Royale, one of the infamous archers. He's berating Camille in the middle of the street.
Where do you get those?
He demands, gesturing to all of her groceries.
Quoi?
But monsieur, you saw me buy these. I got some over there, she says, pointing in the direction of a market stall.
I saw no such thing,
he says, blistering at the suggestion that he could have been paying attention to his surroundings.
Where's your receipt?
Camille's eyes dart from side to side, and she turns her feet away from it. Something about this line of questioning is making her very uncomfortable. I never get the receipts, monsieur. Gay Royal, yep.
What? That's ridiculous! Why not?
Well, I can't. Camille starts and stops, looking ashamedly at the ground.
You're going to have to give me a very good reason not to haul you away,
he growls, and one of his hands extends out, low, with his palm up. Ah, so that's what this is about. Cost money, increase peril. Yeah, let's try to trick him. Monsieur, a man has stolen my purse! The watchman stares at you, absolutely startled, and as you suddenly interpose yourself between him and Camille.
What? You've been robbed? Which way did he go? We don't allow criminals here. Not on my watch.
Suppressing the powerful reflex to comment on the irony of that statement, you point him in a random direction. To sell the illusion, you provide a believable, yet suitably vague description of your imaginary assailant. Hurrah! I got rid of the Gay Royal. That's probably not how it's pronounced, but I'm glad, because doing his voice was hard. That was really hard on the throat. The voice I chose to do for him was not easy to do. Musket at the ready, the watchman runs off into the crowd, yelling after an imaginary cut purse. The moment you lose sight of him, the two of you start hurrying away. Well, madame, that was amazing, she gushes. Normally I'll remember to bribe the authorities, but something came over me and I completely forgot. Yay, I've gained credibility! You spend the rest of the day escorting Camille about on her daily errands. It takes a few minutes for her to completely feel comfortable again, but it comes eventually. Hurrah! I am awesome! The next morning, you wake up from a long night's rest, feeling pretty much the same as you did last night. Now that you think about it, you've been feeling tired since that terrible party a few nights ago. Camille enters the room carrying some breakfast. Bonjour, madame. You look unwell. Nicely spotted, Camille. I also feel unwell. Well, don't worry. This sort of thing used to happen to Monsieur Armand all the time. He would attend all these parties and then forget that sometimes he needed to rest. Armand was always the sort of person who'd burn the candle at both ends. In fact, you were both often guilty of this, which is one of the reasons the two of you got along so well together. The more parties he attended, the more exhausted he was, which made things harder and harder for him. Remember, madame, instead of spending the day outside, you can always rest at home for a day to recover your strength. There's nothing wrong with taking a break every now and then. Home is now available on the Paris map. Do you think you'll be staying in tonight, madame? Sadly, I need to get a new outfit. I need to get a new dress for the party. Not tonight, Camille. I simply have too many things to do right now. If you insist, madame, Camille replies with some hesitance, but you brush it off and continue with your day. What's the next party? This is the church party. Which means it almost doesn't matter what I wear, because fuck the church. They like provincial dresses. She gushes. You come across the hirelings of one of your earliest enemies, but what are they up to? Outrageous crown gossip or outrageous gossip? I feel like that'd probably be useful. Parc Monceau, created by the infamous libertine Louis-Philippe d'Orléans, this rendezvous location is a bustling garden filled with strange, adventurous, and exotic attractions. Jardin des Plantes. Relax and promenade with your liaison in this rendezvous location. These popular gardens are the ideal places to unwind and engage in a little people watching. But what I need is a couple outfits. And shit, they're all expensive. Should have bought a couple of dresses at the last time I was there when they were cheap. Wardrobe. Alright, well, it's a church party, so screw it, I'll just wear my provincial outfit. Who cares? As your carriage nears the party, you consider taking one last moment to assess your preparations. Pause to consider how well rested you feel. Unfortunately, you can feel the exhaustion set in as soon as you look past the door towards the enormous crowd of party guests. Tonight is going to be a long night. You check a tiny mirror you keep in the carriage to see that you're wearing your provincial outfit to a party being held by the church. The guests have no strong feelings on your outfit, and your credibility has not changed much. With preparations like this, the results of tonight could be a toss-up. You step down out of your carriage and hear the ripple of whispers that signal your arrival to any social event these days. There's a small line in the entryway of the cathedral, as guests are waiting to get in. While you're standing in this line, you manage to overhear an interesting rumor. You make a mental note of it, just in case. Hey, piece of cheap church gossip.
Huh.
A servant checks your invitation, and everything seems to be in order. Yeah, I'm not giving anyone. Nod to her and enter the party. Hey, it's the sushi hat! It's the sushi hat! We got the sushi hat again! She curtsies to you as you pass her by and enter the party. Now let the games begin. It appears that the party's host has left their study unlocked. This might be a valuable opportunity for someone of a more unscrupulous nature. Barrel, cheap crown gossip, some money. So I can get some money and some gossip. Why is there a woman here who looks so much like you? A jilted gentleman has sought out your company, and he has quite the grudge to settle. However, firmly held grudges often lead to loose tongues. Ooh, I could get some good gossip from that guy. Colleague in journalism, there's a woman here who apparently used to work with Pierre in the past. As a fellow huntress of gossip and rumors, the two of you might have quite a lot to talk about. Alright, so these can give... So this can give a little bit of money and some good gossip and some cheap gossip. This could give pretty good gossip from either of these ones. No gossip from this one, but seems like kind of an interesting... Hey, Anonymous. I'm going to go with this one. Colleague in journalism. Which can hopefully get me some good gossip. You approach a woman who's been eyeing the other guest in a particular familiar way. In fact, it's the exact same way you look at guests at these functions. She looks up at you. Yvette Decaux, I take it? She asks, sipping on a glass of white wine. A fine assessment.
Uh-huh.
Ah, I thought so. You seem to match all the rumors I've heard. Anne de Croixmare. My name is Anne de Croixmare. We're both acquainted with Pierre Renaudot. A funny little man, isn't he? I used to work for him as a rumor monger a long time ago, before his boss passed away and bequeathed him the newspaper. Of course, since then I've moved on to greener pastures. How's Pierre doing, by the way? Does he still gamble like a madman? Funny or sarcastic? Oh no, he doesn't even drink anymore. I hear the Pope might have him canonized.
Huh.
Ha! Can you imagine? She laughs. I once saw the man wager a full week's wages on wig-louse racing. Normally you'd think that she was joking, but this is Pierre we're talking about here. By the way, I'm not certain what you're doing here tonight, but I'm here to interview the Comte de Boulainvilliers. I mean, he doesn't know it's an interview, but that's not important. Having McDonald's? Nice, anonymous. Comte de Boulainvilliers. Simply put, I'm here to find something interesting related to the church. Can I trust you to stay out of my way? What say you and I interview him together? Together, we'll cover every angle.
Huh.
Interview him together? I'd be agreeable to such a plan. If we both sold the story to our respective employers at the same time, they'd be none the wiser. She leads you over to the Comte de Boulainvilliers and engages him in conversation. It looks like they've met before, but he has no idea what her actual profession is.
Ooh.
The two of you alternate in your conversation with him, slowly drawing out details of the latest scandals. Like a good gentleman, he attempts to remain discreet, but against the two of you, he doesn't stand a chance against the two-pronged ambush of your charms. Cheap church gossip. Only cheap. The three of you stick around together, chatting for a while, before you find that there's nothing left else to be gained from this conversation. Eventually you part ways. You decide to search the rest of the party and see if there's anything else for you to do. Holier than thou, your presence hasn't gone unnoticed by those who consider themselves extremely pious. For some unbelievable reason, they doubt the honesty of your intentions here. This might be an ideal chance to turn such attacks around on them. Two men have sequestered themselves in a chapel to discuss a set of rumors so dire that they fear to speak them aloud. While together they are resolute, they may prove easy to tempt when separated. Can get some very good gossip out of them. Didn't tell the whole truth before I stole an onion as well. Hey, you gotta feed your family. You gotta feed your weird-ass family that likes eating onions. Come across a priest off in a corner, hiding from the other guests. He seems bookish and shy, but also quite sweet. Something about him feels like it bears further investigation. Ludovico favor. Can't get any credibility from him, but I can get good gossip. Potentially lose favor with this one. It was just going to go bad there, so I stand by what I've done. Yeah! Do it! Statistically speaking, your employer has probably stolen from you. Your employer has probably engaged in wage theft. So, alright, let's see if we can get some good gossip here. You notice two men sequestered off to the side in a chapel, speaking in low tones while their eyes glance furtively about. The sight alone is enough to draw you towards it, like a devout pilgrim towards a holy place. Indeed, I've heard some rather fascinating things amongst the priests that I know. But even now, I fear that the wrong person might overhear it. We're two of a kind, then. Some of my friends have remained in the military, and they have a lot to say about the sorry state of affairs there. I can barely keep such things to myself, but the risks are too great. I'm simply too close to the story, and the consequences for indiscretion could be dire indeed.
I suppose we have nothing to discuss then.
Even at this distance, you can see that these men are so overflowing with desire to spill their respective secrets that it would be a trivial task to get them to speak. However, if they're to be believed, you'll certainly anger the members of whatever group that you take their gossip from. They're starting to walk away from each other. Who should you follow? I'm no fan of the military. But fuck the church. As they part ways, you follow the older man at a distance. You catch up to him in a different part of the party, far from his erstwhile companion. Ah, bonjour, madame, he says with a polite bow of his head. How may I help you? Your efforts to pry the secrets from this man are so easy that you almost have to stop yourself from laughing. You have what you want from him in short order. Cheap. Of course, there are obvious consequences for dealing with a man who clearly can't keep a secret. It won't be long before everyone in the church knows that you sought out rumors about them. I lost favor with the priest. The conversation that follows afterwards is decent, if nothing else. This is especially good, because you'll have to keep talking with him for some time. This dance has a particular rhythm, and one that can't leave too early, lest they risk arousing even further suspicion. However, the moment you spot a polite opening in the conversation, you manage to break away. All things considered, that certainly feels like a success. A country priest in Paris for the Estate Générale has been granting asylum to accused criminals. Is he interfering on behalf of the people or obstructing justice? I lost credibility? Alright, so I gotta sell this gossip. Ooh, a lot of things to do. You come across the hirelings, a Hessian doorman. Exploring a more dangerous part of the city carries some risks, but some of the violent types you meet could also be useful, or even employable. You spot a certain wealthy widow making inquiries with a creator of bespoke furniture. What could she be up to? Oh man, I'd love to... Pierre works in a field where one makes quite a few enemies. You just didn't expect it to catch up with him quite so quickly. Nah. I got gossip. Pierre's office either looks marginally cleaner than before, or he's managed to shuffle the mess into differently shaped piles. Honestly, it's hard to tell. You spend a few minutes waiting around in the entryway before Pierre arrives, and he seems quite enthused by your presence.
Why, if it isn't my newest confidant, please come in.
Have you come back with more delicious information? Or perhaps you're trying to find someone, no? What exactly are you talking about? Oh, playing your cards carefully? I admire that, madame. Hey! I am referring to your absent fiancé, the Baron Armand de Marble. He pauses to snort a small pinch of snuff, carefully examining your face for any hint of reaction. Ever since making your acquaintance, I knew something about you was familiar, and my keen journalistic senses are never wrong. Your beloved Armand was quite the social butterfly, and he mentioned you often. In fact, like any good lover, he knew quite a lot about you. But how much did you really know about him? It's early February, and you take a seat at your usual spot in Le Signe, a small tavern in your hometown. The hood of your cloak is still up, but it's less to do with the snow outside, and more to do with the fact that you don't want to talk to anyone else here. After a few minutes of trying to read your book, but failing to really get into it, you hear a set of footsteps approaching your table. Bonjour, Yvette. I hope you weren't waiting too long. Pierre killed Armand? Nah, Pierre wouldn't kill someone. Pierre wouldn't kill anyone who's not a threat to him, I feel like. And even if they were a threat, I think he'd probably try to avoid killing them. Well, I suppose he's an alcoholic. He's a drunk. He drinks a lot, so he might kill people in drunken brawls or something like that. It's not polite to keep a lady waiting. Je suis désolé, ma chérie. It's taken so much longer to get my affairs in order than I thought. Now I'm already spoiling our last night. Yes, we've apparently now met Armand. It's true, the entire night is ruined. I shall now flee to live in the woods. I knew it. Armand sighs, defeated. Suddenly he begins to perk up and leans in close to whisper. You'll finally leave this place behind, living as a lonely hermit, far from the prying eyes of civilization. At night, children will whisper of the beautiful, wicked woman living in the forest, who reviles all of society. How will you pass your time alone in the woods? I won't be alone, as I'll hold elegant salons for all the finest creatures of the forest. Armand is more animate now, his words coming out faster and faster. In that case, I shall have no choice but to disguise myself as a huntsman, lost in the forest, and happening upon your grand salon by chance. You might be intrigued by this curious outsider in your midst. This would lead to us talking amongst the birds, the deer, and your other refined guests about the natural order and the beauties of the wilds. Obviously, I would be unable to resist your charms. Perhaps you would feel the same? Diana and Actaeon. Nice Greek reference, or Roman reference, I guess. Nice mythology reference, very nice, I appreciate. A mysterious, rugged huntsman with an eye for beauty? How could I resist? The kindling embers of true love would be reignited into a roaring flame. I would cast off my disguise, and you would completely forgive me for being late. He waves to the barmaid, who brings you a bottle of wine and some glasses, along with a loaf of freshly baked bread that's still steaming when it touches the table. Armand fills your glass first. Fun banter. Some fun banter they've got. He then fills his own, then raises his glass for a toast. To happy endings. May our lives turn out as well as they do in the stories. The red wine is deep and full-bodied. It smells of leather, blackberries, and cloves. It's some of the best you've had, and you can tell that Armand is enjoying it as well. You spend an hour finishing the bottle together, pausing occasionally to nibble at the bread. All the while you trade jokes, news from around the village, and simply try to forget that this is the last you'll see of each other for months. We tar and feather him with the preened bird's fat discards. With the wine finished, Armand pauses to place the bottle on its side, a curious habit he picked up from his father. He then takes a deep breath and waits a moment before saying, "The snow appears to have stopped. Would you like to join me outside? I have something I want to show you." "Oh, I know how that story goes, Armand." "Oh, I have something I want to show you." And then you whip out your dick. "I'm on to you, Armand." "And soon I'll be onto your dick." Outside, the night air is brisk. Even the colors of the moonlit sky are cold. It's a stark contrast from the fireside warmth of the tavern. Yet despite the open air, it feels more intimate and personal than the small tavern you left behind. Who has the self-control to just nibble at bread? I will deep-throat a baguette. Hi, Jay. While I like Le Signe as much as the next man, I'd prefer to end our night with something that's just about us, Armand says in a soft, low voice. Sure, are we doing this horizontal or are we doing it vertical? He turns and holds out his elbow for you to grab onto. Care for a walk? I'd love to. You step in close to him, wrapping your arm around his, before you both wander off into the moonlit night. Hey, gain some favor with Armand. You walk along the edge of a lake, the only sound being the whispers of the wind, the sound of your footfalls, and the steady rhythm of each other's breath. Your head leans on his shoulder. His body feels both warm and familiar. The moon is full, the town distant, and it feels like you're the only two people in the entire world. Without a word, Armand leans in towards you, his eyes closed. You gotta kiss the girl. You gotta kiss the girl. Kiss him. Your lips meet his and a joyful chill runs through your body. His hand comes up to stroke the side of your face as his other arm hugs you close. You're not sure how long your kiss lasts. Time seems to have lost some of its importance. You pull away from each other and you stare into his eyes. His face is a mixture of excitement and surprise. He whispers to you, I hope every kiss we have is as good as that one. Hey, more favor. Armand breathes deep, preparing himself for his next words. It's then that a man stumbles out of the darkness towards you, glancing about himself and trying to catch his breath. Love that movie. It's a good movie. Way to spoil the mood, you cock-blocking douche nozzle.
Armand, I've been... Armand, I've been looking everywhere for you,
he whispers hoarsely. His accent is foreign and wholly unfamiliar. All you know is that he isn't French, nor is he English. Your tent is relatively small, and yet you still don't recognize this man. Armand, who is this? Eyes widening for a moment, he seems to notice you for the first time. I suppose he might be Scottish, so.
I am Charles, a good friend of Monsieur Armand,
he states slowly and carefully.
I was afraid he'd already left for the Estates General.
Charles placed a small leather case in Armand's hands.
I just wanted to make sure he didn't forget these documents. It's quite fortunate that I found them in time. And who might you be, madame?
I'm your good friend's fiancé. Charles winces as if he'd been cut.
I'm so sorry, madame. That's very rude of me. It's a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
He looks back and forth between the two of you and gives a quick formal bow.
You two are obviously in the middle of something important. Please excuse my intrusion. Bonne nuit.
With that, Charles leaves. You and Armand stare at each other, silently, for over a minute. Care to explain who that was?
That was Charles.
Armand says evenly.
I used to buy books from him by letter. However, a few months ago, we started a true correspondence between myself and some of his associates. We've been discussing politics.
We share a lot of ideas in common. What ideas are those? Ideas about modernity, monarchy, and what France needs in order to succeed in a changing world. Armand says, almost automatically, before looking away from you and blushing for a moment. His breath mists in the cold air as he stares out across the still waters of the lake.
I know that isn't the whole answer or what you want to hear. However, I need you to trust me a bit.
Please. His voice is serious, grave, pained.
France is changing. That cannot be stopped. It's up to us to make sure that it changes for the better.
Pierre is staring at you. You must have gotten lost in your thoughts for a moment.
Madame, I was asking, how well do you know your fiancé?
I know Armand better than anyone, and I know he's a good man.
Even after all this language, you still feel that way towards him?
Pierre asked, his shock barely concealed.
Such lasting affection in this modern age is quite rare.
Pierre puffs out his chest and strikes a heroic pose.
I shall do my best to reunite you with your lost Armand, as it has often been rightly said that I am a man dedicated to the causes of truth and love.
Oh my God, Sailor Pierre. Pierre is a Sailor Scout, confirmed. You look Pierre up and down, not really certain if anybody has described him in that way ever.
Of course, I cannot walk so far,
Pierre admits, shifting awkwardly from foot to foot.
I must support my newspaper after all.
But if you help me with this, I will help you as best I can.
You see, I'm looking to run a new social biz, something that will catch the imagination of the public.
Pierre favors you with a broad, toothy grin.
It may also rekindle some old rivalries, so to speak. After all, it's easier to sell newspapers when there's something to write about. If you bring me gossip related to the bourgeoisie, I'll tell you where to learn more about your estranged Armand.
Pierre has asked a favor of you. Sell him specific types of fresh gossip in the allotted time, and you'll receive special rewards. You can track these requests in the Gossip tab of your journal.
Once I get me this gossip, my journalistic genius shall handle the rest.
Now then, to business. A bishop has called for the censorship of an opera critical of the church. The king has signaled his assent, but has taken weeks to make a pronouncement. Is the king taking the request seriously, or ignoring it? Honestly, this feels safe to sell. No chance of the public finding out. Get some money. A bishop is called for the censorship of an opera critical for the... Here we go. A country priest in Paris for the Estat Général has been granting asylum to accused criminals. Is he intervening on behalf of the people or obstructing justice? Yeah, let's sell it. I need money. I need money for clothes. I need fancy clothes. Today is a day I'm just going to laze around, though. The next morning, you find a letter on your nightstand. Camille must have brought it in while you were still asleep. It's sealed with a rich purple wax seal bearing the initials HG. Upon opening it, you find a letter from Honorade, writing in flowing cursive. It might be your imagination, but you think you can smell the slightest hint of perfume on the letter.
Sure is it. It was truly a pleasure to have your company in the ride home from that otherwise dreary party. Still, I see that the thought that our host was allowed to ridicule you, in front of all those people no less. Such a thing must not go unpunished. This is why I've been digging in some rather dark corners of the city. I have some information that you will find quite interesting.
Honorade goes on to describe a particular fountain deep in the city. She'd like to meet with you in secret, as she's worried about someone intercepting the letter. Is your enemy really that powerful? Is that gay or normal? Gay! Honorade's lead is now available to visit in the Paris map. Please meet me there as soon as you can, and I'll share what I've learned. Bien effectivement, Honorade. Using your map doesn't take long. I feel like my exhaustion's getting bad enough that I should probably take a day off. Notables. Armand de Marbo. You met your estranged fiancé Armand back when you were both living in a small village to the south. Currently representing the Second Estate as part of the Estat Général, Armand is a witty, politically active, and quite sweet. However, his recent behavior has been odd, to say the least. Yeah, spend the day resting at home to remove all levels of exhaustion. You decided to take the day off and spend some time at home resting and recuperating. After spending the day in, taking care of yourself and doing some light reading, you finally feel recharged. The exhaustion that had been affecting you before has passed. With that complete, you turn your focus upon the other matters that attend your attention. You wake up to the sound of someone knocking on your door downstairs. Before you can even get up, you hear Camille cheerily call out, "Oh, get it!" When she answers the door, you hear her spend a minute talking with a man whose harsh voice you don't recognize. When their conversation finishes, Camille heads up to your room. Madame, we need to talk about the rent and my wages. Who was that at the door? That was our landlord, Monsieur Riquet. He was asking after this week's rent, which is odd, because I know that Monsieur Armand already paid a healthy advance on our week's rent, and that we should still be fine for the rest of the month. Monsieur Armand used to say of our landlord... Oh, what was it? Camille asks herself, tapping her chin.
Ah, yes. He said our landlord would sell his own soul for a handful of livres, and that he'd still be getting the better deal for it. Well, we didn't need to pay him this week, but next week we need to have 35 livres for our rent, and 5 livres for my wages, or we could be in trouble. And so I need 40 livres a month. You now will need to pay both your rent and the wages of your servants every week, or deal with damages to your credibility, or perhaps even peril. Is there anything else, madame? I'm not going to ask why I'm... No, I'm not going to ask that. That's rude. Why am I paying you 5 livres a week? Because she fucking works for the money, bitch! No, Camille, just breakfast will be fine. Shit, I'd give her a raise if I could afford it. With that, Camille heads downstairs to make you breakfast, and you're left to wonder how you'll take care of this. Saw a rat in your kitchen? Oof. That's not good. Alright, this is the bourgeoisie gossip. About 48 days left to get bourgeoisie gossip. It was me. Alright. This one's +3 with the bourgeoisie, so this'll do. You step down out of your carriage and hear the ripple of whispers that signal your arrival to any social event these days. There's a small line in the vestibule as guests are waiting to get in. While you're standing in this line, you manage to overhear an interesting rumor. You make a mental note of it just in case. And yes, gift of wine. She gratefully takes the gift from you and sets it aside. As you enter the party, you can hear the whispers of other guests noting your generosity. Gained tiny bit of credibility, lost a tiny amount of peril. Yay! So I got nothing for this thing, but probably be a really nice scene. Dang it. In the vestibule, you hear some strange noises emanating from a coat closet. Now, whatever could that be? You recall a far-off memory. It's at the time when you and Armand first met. A guest has apparently been entrusted with valuable knowledge, only to make the mistake of getting extremely drunk afterwards. A single chambermaid has been told to watch over him, but you've never been one to let such a petty obstacle get in your way. A pair of women are discussing their businesses, and the rumor that comes with such dealings. If one were careful, they could walk away with quite a bit of knowledge indeed. Let's see if I can get good gossip here. You find yourself chatting with an interesting pair of women. They both manage their own personal fortunes, and are trying to invest in businesses all across the city to grow their wealth. You rarely get a chance to meet women like this, even in Paris, which is what initially drew you into the conversation. Apparently, all of this business causes them no shortage of stress. When people are stressed, they tend to say exactly what's on their mind, which means it's been exceedingly easy to find new gossip. Cheap gossip? Yeah. Oh, how are things going with that new tea importer you've been looking to invest in? Her companion sighs. Well, it was going to be easy, but of course something had to come up and get in the way of everything. She then turns to you and looks embarrassed. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is all just business. I don't want to bore you with a mountain of trivial details. You grit your teeth into the shape of a smile. That mountain of trivial details is exactly what you need. Please, we can discuss something more germane. Please, keep going. I'm always willing to learn. Oh, really? She asks, genuinely trying to determine if you're just humoring her. Well, if that's the case, then let's forge onwards. The other woman chimes in, brimming with excitement. Hey, gained a little credibility. They start explaining the latest issues going on amongst the bourgeoisie. As far as you can tell, every functioning business in Paris is connected in some way or another. If one of them starts running into issues, it ripples out to everyone else. Sometimes you feel like you've never left your village. Everyone is always bumping into each other and being rebuked for inconveniencing people they've barely ever given a thought to. Everyone is connected, so they all feel like they're allowed to judge you for your decisions. You chime in with a few observations of your own, but otherwise let them talk, while you try to take in as much as possible. Gossip is easy when it's people you know. When you don't, it's a difficult task just to keep all the details straight. Yeah, shocking gossip! Hell yes! You thank them for their time and make a graceful exit. As you leave, they regard you with a wary fascination. They're so unused to outsiders taking any interest at all, they can't understand why anyone would care about the details of their concerns. Big gossip! Outlandish rumors! A pair of women seem to have quite a bit to say to each other, but aren't doing so. Whatever dangerous rumors they've gotten a hold of, they can't bring themselves to speak in public. If one were to get one of them alone, however... Could possibly lose favor with Honorad. Don't want to do that. I guess has apparently been entrusted with valuable knowledge, only to... Yeah. Why is there a woman here who looks so much like you? A libertine gentleman has need of your skills in order to exact a devastating plot to avenge a petty slight. Not gonna lie, this one's tempting. This one is the most potentially useful. This one seems interesting. This honestly sounds the most fun. What are we thinking? Go with the useful one or the petty? Are we thinking try to get gossip? Are we thinking go for gossip? Or go for petty? Gossip? Profit or pettiness? Are we going for profit or are we going for pettiness? Petty? I mean, really, was there ever any question?
France, for God's sake! We're in France! The land of the petty!
Oh, I have to be true to the French roots, mon ami. Mon amis.
Tired of seeing so many of the same familiar faces, you wander into the vestibule and cannot help but notice a brilliantly dressed man. Feeling curious, you approach him. Seeing you, he quickly plucks 2 wine glasses off the tray of a passing servant, then asks them to get you something as well. I like this guy already. Plucks 2 wine glasses off the tray of a passing servant, then asks them to get you something as well. Bonsoir, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. I am Guillaume de Sable, patron of the sartorial arts and libertine philosopher. It's a pleasure to meet you as well. I'm Yvette Decaux. My oh my, the infamous Yvette Decaux. I'm honored to be in such a scandalous presence. If it helps, I am no stranger to being decried either. It's usually awful, but you must admit that there's something fun about being hated by terrible people. It makes you realize how good your decisions have been. That is true. That is true. When terrible people hating you is a distinct pleasure. Another thing you and I might share is a common enemy, at least by association, he says as a servant brings you a glass, filling it with a decent red wine. You've been wronged by the Baron de Towns, who absolutely despises me. I think it's because he can't stand the possibility that anyone in this day and age can dare to be happy. He's so intent on seeming both so superior and so miserable. With that in mind, I think you would be the perfect person to help me gain the much-needed upend on one of their most staunch defenders, the Comte de Sanson. Hey, artist! Watching my live and I forgot I was live? Yeah, I sometimes forget that I'm doing a live. I'll just be sitting there reading out loud and just forget that I'm actually doing this for a reason. You see, this man has been a thorn in my side for years, but recently crossed a line when he threatened to publicize some of my more torrid romantic affairs. Go on! My fiance's away. I wouldn't mind it. Yeah, my fiance's away. Maybe I could be one of the torrid ones. I don't mind don't mind a little torrid. Not that I'm ashamed, mind you, but I would hate for such a fate to fall upon those I happen to be involved with. Not everyone is as fortunate as I am to live as I do. Though they should, he mutters into one of his wine glasses while he takes a deep draught of wine. Or draught? So, to preempt this problem, I'd like you to approach this despicable boor and claim to represent someone who is interested in marrying his detestable son. Of course, you can put it in kinder words. A chance to make such an awful man miserable? Where do I start? Right. I would assume this is a wig. Fantastic! Madam, you have made the right choice. As I was saying before, the Comte de Sanson has a detestable son who is burning, hey kitty germs,
who is burning through his family's fortune due to his excessive gambling.
Hey there, kitty charms.
With that in mind, I'd like you to approach him and claim to be delivering a letter on behalf of a wealthy common woman from the countryside, who is looking to marry his son and gain a title. I, of course, have already written the first letter, Guillaume says, handing you a letter that's been dipped in some sort of sweet perfume.
Hey, comic book. Whenever I watch vaguely historical media, I always think about how much they probably stunk back then. I mean, people did bathe. Like, people did bathe in the past. And beyond that, there's a simple matter of you get used to shit. That said, while they did bathe, they also shit on the streets. Gardaloo! Gardaloo! Apparently, courtiers just used to shit in the Palace of Versailles. They would just go they would just go off behind a pillar and take a shit. Right in the Palace of Versailles. Yeah, I figure, like, lack of bathing is probably less of a problem than Gardaloo. That was what people would shout when they were emptying their piss pots out on out the window. You know, whenever they had to empty out their chamber pots, they'd just dump it out the window and they'd go, Gardaloo! Just to let people know, hey, piss and shit about to rain down from above. Does that mean? I think just watch out for the loo. Once he has his block-headed son write back to this address provided in my letter, I shall handle the rest until our grand reveal, where we shall utterly humiliate them both. The exact date can be determined later. I would just ask that you keep an eye out for me at future parties. However, I must give you a fair warning. The Comte de Saint-Saëns is a bourge man, and generally suspicious of anyone smarter than him, which is not exactly a high bar to clear. So, if you act too canny, he'll start to suspect treachery of some sort. They should make a game about that. Peasant waist dodging simulator? Yep. Ah, I see how Mark has entered the party just now. Please excuse me, as I should leave before he realizes that something is afoot. With that, Monsieur de Sable discreetly drains his wine glasses and excuses himself. Letter in hand, you approach the Comte de Saint-Saëns. He appears to be in the process of berating his lackey.
You are incompetent! You are incompetent!
He mutters as his servant scurries away to perform some sort of errand for him.
Humph. And you all?
He asks, barely even looking at you. Oh, good help is so hard to find, isn't it?
Yes, quite,
he replies absent-mindedly.
I assume this letter is for me,
he says, pulling the letter from your hand before you have a chance to explain yourself. However, his mood shifts the second he opens the letter intended for his son. As he reads the contents, he seems almost hungry.
Young lady, who entrusted you with this letter?
You're the one with the letter now. Your guess is as good as mine.
How odd.
He sighs.
Well, even if you can't deduce their identity, then surely I still stand a reasonable chance of doing so. Regardless of circumstances, I'm certain my son will absolutely adore this woman's money. I mean, company.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how gay is this game? 18th century France, so that puts it at an automatic 7. And there are... You can romance... You're a woman who can romance. There's a couple of women you can romance. So I'm going to put it at an 8. You know, like, outside of the... You know, if it wasn't 18th century France, it'd be like a 4 or 5. It'd be like, 4, maybe 5. But revolutionary France is very gay just in general. Yeah, it's a game set in revolutionary France, in 18th century France, where you do have the option of romancing other women. So... Without another word to you, he leaves with the letter, reading it over and over again. It appears that Monsieur de Sabre's plan has been set in motion. And the gossip I will see later. But hurrah! All the Manson heels. And again, France! I feel like 18th century, that's a 3 on the game meter. Yeah, 18th century in general, 3 out of 10 for gayness. France? Oh, France is like a 6 out of 10 on the game meter. Just France as a country, yeah? All right. Fabric shortage. Why is France so horny? Alright, I got lots of good gossip here. Some representatives from the Third Estate have gotten free rooms to stay in from a prominent hotelier. However, they've been staying for a long time. Is this a sign of friendship, or are the representatives taking advantage of their host? Sell it?
Thank you, madame. This is exactly...
Oh. Shit. A lawyer recently got into a fist fight with an aristocrat who tried to claim his seat at the opera. Is this a sign of abuse by the nobility, or the lawyer's unnecessary impudence? Offer him a croissant? $60. Or I can change the, I can increase the power of the bourgeoisie. Tough call, because my girl, the wealthy widow, is part of the bourgeoisie. So, do I want a chunk of money? Because I do need to spend, what, 35 or 40? Yeah, I need 40 francs a week. Plus, I need to buy, for, like, rent and wages. Plus, I need to get, new clothes every once in a while. So I do need to get more and more money. But I can also help my girl. So do I want money? Or do I want to help the wealthy widow? Do I go with money? Or do I increase the bourgeoisie's influence and help my hot widow lady friend? She'll understand. Spoil your girl. More dough. Alright. Money for dresses. And hey, nobody found out. Pierre claps his hands together in delight. Madame, it appears that you have done me a great service. With this lettuce gossip, I can finally launch my most controversial social piece yet. In fact, your contributions have been so great that they must be recognized. Madame Decaux, you are no longer a mere gossip monger. Today, you are a journalist! Thanks, man. You have reached the rank of journalist at La Trompette du Peuple. The title itself is meaningless, but it certainly sounds nice. Now, I assume you wish to know more about your beloved Armand, no? Before we get into that, why did you need me specifically to do this? Pierre sighs and mops the sweat from his brow with a severely stained handkerchief. To be honest, madame, I'm in a bit of a tough situation. Newspapers like my own have always existed in one unofficial capacity or another. But with the end of royal censorship, new papers are opening every day. The competition for readership and for new information has become ridiculous. Pierre throws up his hands in exasperation.
I can't just print gossip that's been sold to everyone else. My readers expect something unique in these pages, not the same unoriginal trap bandied about in those larceny papers.
Hey, Evelyn. He continues, his outrage shockingly sincere.
I need you, because my other sources have taken their business to less esteemed publications.
You have my condolences, Pierre. That sounds difficult.
Merci beaucoup, madame.
He sighs, pausing to snort a heavy pinch of snuff.
But please, enough about my troubles. You are here to learn of your fiancé, no?
It may shock you to learn that your Armand managed to keep some rather opinionated company, Pierre says with the careful circumspection of someone severely downplaying the seriousness of a situation.
While the details of the beliefs have been remarkably difficult to track down, I know two things about their views.
This man seems deranged. I love it. Yeah, I love Pierre. Pierre is great, and Pierre just seems like a really fun character.
The first is that they show an open disdain for the country's current laws and privileges, which made them unwelcome with the aristocracy supporting the crown. However, they also harbor a strong devotion to the Queen, which alienated them to the nationalists in the Revolution. There's a studio in the western part of the city, just south of the Seine, where he and some like-minded individuals preferred to discuss the proper course for the country. Painters in the front, planning ends the back.
Eating potato wedges right now, I'm in heaven. Potato wedges are good. Pierre starts scribbling on a piece of paper. When he hands it off to you, you find it to be an address.
The Gay Royale raided the studio a month ago and arrested everyone there, Pierre explains. While supporting the Queen is certainly no crime, something about this group's beliefs was making someone in power quite uncomfortable. The studio has been abandoned ever since. Go there and you might find something that leads you to your roman.
The abandoned studio is now available for you to visit on the Paris map.
Now, before you leave, madame, I hope that you do not forget about me and my humble paper. I still find your social insights valuable, and I'm always willing to pay for anything you can bring me. I like to think we've made good business partners, no?
But of course, Pierre. This has been a delight. Is potato wedge with the P and stands for in PK? The K is for king. Potato wedge king. Pierre puts down his snuff box and favors you through a deep and theatrical bow.
Now you flatter me, madame. Bonne chance, and may God see fit to reunite you with your Armand in great haste.
At the mention of God, Pierre makes the sign of the cross, but you're pretty sure he did it backwards.
Adieu, and may our paths cross again.
Next event is with the crown. Man. I feel like I should get a new outfit. Something that'll go over... I feel like I should get a new outfit. But I also feel like I should go see Anurad. We'll decide that next time. It's been 2 hours. So, we shall decide the next step next time. Duke Emile Ganteau requests the attendance of Yvette Decaux to their music recital on April 1st. Bourgeoisie gossip. I'm actually going to decline that. Request the attendance of Yvette Decaux to their Feast of St. Aaron. They give me parties 3 nights in a row, 3 days in a row. So I think I'm going to decline that one as well. Alright, so that gives me 3 more days to... I should have gone to this party, actually. I should have gone to the bourgeois party. Whatever. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Probably not tomorrow, actually, Color Purple. I suspect I probably will not come on tomorrow. Anyway, saves the game. And, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm enjoying this. I'm having a good time. Even if doing the accent is sometimes hard on the throat. Like, even if some of the voices I'm doing are kind of hard on the throat. But other than that, I'm having a good time. So, thanks for coming. And I'll see you next time I'm live. I do have another Life is Strange Before the Storm video up tomorrow, so love my voice acting. Thanks, PK. I try. Sad you missed my first 40 minutes. You can always rewatch, Vanna. Yeah, new video for Life is Strange Before the Storm goes up tomorrow. So, yeah, you could always, since I probably won't be live, you could always watch that. I won't make any money off it. Not going to make any money off that one, but you can always watch it. Sadly, because there's copyrighted music, my Life is Strange videos make no money. That said, you know, they're good videos. They're fun videos. So anyway, thanks for watching, and catch you next time. Good night for now, everybody.